Hey, what's up? It's Mr. Bill. The track you're listening to right now is the result of a 35-hour tutorial series where I recorded the process of making this song from start to finish and explained myself along the way. If you're interested in learning how to make music or sharpening your craft, go to MrBillsTunes.com and check it out. Enjoy the tune.
Hey, you're listening to the Mr. Bill podcast.
Hey, you're listening to the Mr. Bill podcast.
Hey, you are listening to the Mr. Bill podcast.
Hey, you're 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 listening to the Mr. Bill podcast. Hey, you're listening to the Mr. Bill podcast.
Hey, you're listening to the Mr. Bill podcast.
Hey, you're listening to the Mr.
Hey, you're listening to the Mr. Bill podcast.
Sick. Well, thanks for doing the podcast. I was almost gonna cancel and reschedule because I was was really into working on a tune right now, but then I was like, that's why I deleted all those messages in WhatsApp. I was like, fuck it, let's do it.
How's it going? Are you still working on your album?
Yeah, I am. It's probably 90% done. I'm just going through the last sort of 10%, tidying things up right now. But I feel like that last 10%,
the hardest.
It's more like it's more like the first 90% is actually 50% of the work, and the last 10% is another 50% of the work. It feels like
so true, and it makes you want to kill yourself every time you get to that last 10%. It's just it's the hardest part.
Yeah, you just have an existential crisis. Fuck, am I making this better or worse, or what the fuck?
Yeah, I think you just go numb in a way. You have no idea what's going on. You've been working on the same thing for so long, and it's just the beginning is a lot of fun because you explore and you find a new new colors and a new color scheme to color scheme that made you want to work on an album to begin with, and then it gets to a point where you're does it sound good? Is it good enough? Do I need to make it shorter? Do I need to make it longer? Can I play it? Can I not play it? There's so many elements that comes into the pictures. It's just the whole artistic vibe is just gone, and it's just how do I make this work without wanting to shoot myself in the head?
For me, the playing side is fine. I'll play anything. In a DJ set, you can make anything work, I think. You just got to contextualize it around the right things, and plus it only happens once, and after that it's done. But with an album, it's when you're putting something out there basically permanently, you want it to be just right. Whereas I don't know, I feel like you can take risks in a set more so than you can. But with Psytrance, maybe not, because if I'm playing a whip in a set, I'll play it for 30 seconds or a minute. Whereas Psytrance, if you're playing a whip, you play it for 5 minutes
minimum.
Yeah,
minimum.
So that's a solid chunk of your set that could be good or could be shit.
I think it depends, because when you usually play sets, how long are they? An hour? Or
yeah, usually 1 hour, yeah.
So yeah, for us, 1 hour is I start having fun. I get into the zone after roughly 40 minutes minimum. Up until 40 minutes, I'm just I'm getting warmed up. I'm feeling the crowd. I'm trying to understand where I'm taking this and what's the energy like. And it's usually minimum an hour and a half. I cannot deal with 1 hour, because it's the music is so long. Every track is minimum 6 minutes, and it can get up to 10 or 11 minutes sometimes. So it's a different vibe than playing bass music in a way.
Yeah, so when you play a track, right, usually you write the track to sort of start chill, and then it gets more and more and more intense over time. That's kind of how I feel most music works. So is your set basically 5 to 10 minutes of up and then start again, and then 5 to 10 minutes of up and then start again? And is that kind of the flow?
It really depends on the vibe. I find myself playing completely different sets based on where I am. I can, let's say now I just played in Tel Aviv for 3 hours in a basement. Everyone was sweating, and the last thing I wanted to do was playing melodic music, for that matter. You know what I mean? So it was I went full techno, and then it was basically keep the vibe going like this. You know what I mean? When I play a festival, I would want to start very slowly, and I would want to draw people in and always make sure that I'm telling part of like a bigger story, a bigger picture. And like when I compare it to like playing clubs, when I play clubs, I usually like, how do I make the next record work? Not what's going to happen in like 30 minutes or like an hour, which is exactly what I think about when I'm in a festival setting. So it completely varies on the place that I am at the moment and the type of crowd that is in front of me, like whether it's crowd that has patience and that is actually, you know, like using psychedelics, for instance, and then it's easier for me to like come across as like someone who wants to tell a story. But if you're in front of like 17, 18, 19-year-old kids who just want to have fun, all you want to do is like think of the next record that's going to make this whole thing work in a way. So it really varies and depends on the setting. I think when you usually play for like a crowd that you know. I mean, like you play festivals that are usually based with like music that you play around with, and like you play with these people. And do you find yourself playing in front of like 16-year-olds and then the next day playing a festival for 30-year-olds? How does it work for you?
Never 16-year-olds, but like some depends on the festival or the crowd. But yeah, sometimes it's like slightly younger, slightly older. But I never really factor that in too much because I assume like if I choose to play the show, I'm choosing to play it mostly because I know that like my fans want me to play there, or I'm opening for somebody else who has a similar style to me, and I'm playing like right before them or two sets before them at their own big show or something. Like for instance, Ganja White Night, like I opened for them at Red Rock. So my goal there was basically to like win over some of their fans. So I would like obviously play my own music, but like try to gear it more into the style of like what I think their fans would like. So that's kind of like the two types of sets I'll play. But I don't think I ever find myself playing to like a club where the club just has people that go to the club and nobody knows who I am. Like
No. I completely meant on like even that club that I was referring to. I was headlining that night, but for me, I can like, you know, take it really easy on myself and like play the stuff that I know that's gonna work. But I like to take myself to the edge and like play stuff that are outside of my comfort zone that I would never play at a festival setting. That's what I meant. Like I want to know how far I can push it, still remain like very true to myself in everything I do. But I would want to stay very connected to the venue that I'm in. Like if it's a club at night, I feel like I can play that hard techno stuff that I like. But if I'm in a festival setting, then I'll play more melodic and more like open and like slowly evolving type of music. But I would never, ever play a record that I don't believe in just to make the club work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Do you think though that like, for instance, the show that you just played, that was like 16, 17-year-olds, but they're still your fans because you were headlining. Don't you think you could...
Usually when I meet I don't meet a lot of 16, 17-year-olds. I think the minimum of what I usually meet is around 18 to 20, and that usually happens in like mainstream clubs in Israel that you know, like Psytrance is such a big thing in Israel that they want to have a Psytrance headliner to like close the night. Like you are basically the broom that sends people home. So you're in front of like 20-year-olds who've never done anything even remotely close to psychedelics, and you're like, I'm just gonna play like whatever works for me within the range of what I think that will fit them. But I would never play something that I don't believe in. I would just like play something that I feel that can connect more with whatever they need in, you know, from my point of view.
But they're still like, if you're headlining, they're still your fans and they know who you are, yeah?
Most of them, yes. Whoever decides to stay in the party while I'm playing, it's usually people who are familiar with my work and out there to see me play.
Right. So they should probably accept you doing whatever you want to do.
True.
You want to, yeah.
True. But, you know, sometimes, like you said, you're playing a show that is not directly focused and like zoomed on you. Then it's like, then it makes sense to like wanna grab a few extra 5-10% of the crowd and like show them whatever, you know, what you got. If I'll go to a very mainstream event, and again, I choose to play only like 2 or 3 of those a year, so it's like really not something that I come across very often. But when I do, I still think of the fact that, okay, there's like 80% of the people who stayed here are fans of mine that want to hear what I have to say. 20% are like their friends that are still with them. It would be cool if they can get to know some of who I am. I don't think it's the right setting to show them like my inner thoughts all the way through. You know what I mean? Because it's not a festival setting. It's not a psychedelic adventure for any of us. So for me, I don't even have the tools to like work with. You know what I mean? So it has to remain in a way very shallow.
Yeah, I feel you. I think like if you go to a party that has a certain vibe and you refuse to like acknowledge that, it's not a good time for anybody. I learned that the hard way when I went to like a bunch of dubstep parties and played a bunch of IDM and glitch, you know? Like I'd go there and play that and I would just like I knew it was a dubstep party, but I just wouldn't acknowledge it. I'd be like, fuck it, I'm going to do my thing. And it's not a good time at all. So like I've had a much better time just leaning into playing bangers, because I mean that's what people want in a club. And it's funny, like sometimes you get promoters, they're like, no, play this, play your old shit, play like the glitch like IDM stuff, and you'll go there, try a couple of tracks, and people are like not into it because no one goes to a club for that shit. I feel like it's...
I don't feel like everybody is going there for bangers. Do you feel like people are just in it for the bangers? Maybe in the US it's more banger oriented, but like in general,
here's what I think.
It's the only thing that people want to listen to.
So here's my theory. If I'm playing on a stage and I'm not having a good time, no one's going to have a good time. And if people aren't outwardly expressing themselves, I can't tell whether or not they're enjoying it, and I start to have a bad time. So I need to do something to make people like dance and outwardly express themselves for me to have a good time. Because it's really hard to, like, if someone's just thinking and they're just staring at you thinking, but they're having a great time in their head, it's just hard to tell. And that makes me like anxious and have a weird feeling and shit. So I feel like it kind of all feeds into itself in that way.
It's kind of funny you say that, because I had a theory like roughly around 2016 or 17. I got to a point where I felt like people were really, people weren't really like artists in general. When we used to play, like a lot of the Psytrance scene is happening in Brazil, as you are well aware probably.
Right.
And a lot of the artists back then just said like Brazil is only a place for bangers. You need to play like all the big build-ups and like the drops and the triplets and all that stuff. And in like around 2016, I started like feeling like I want to die when I got to Brazil, because it was like, for me, it was do or die. I was like, I'm willing to work at McDonald's tomorrow, but I cannot play stuff that I'm not hold with, like really connected to. And I got to a point where I said like, we need to stop downgrading like the mental capacity or like the intelligence of the crowd, and actually play the stuff that we would want to listen to on the dance floor right now and see what happens. Maybe it will work, maybe it doesn't work, but I have to try. I have to give it a try. And I remember the first time that I did it, and then the pyrotechnics guy came to my tour manager and he was like, just tell me when the drop is. And I looked at him and I was like, no drop, bro. It's like a 134 straight, no build-ups. We're going to go down and see what happens. And in the first couple of times, they didn't really understand what I wanted from them, but like the intelligent part of the crowd, these people that always want to be like smarter than everyone else, and like those people who you go to in order to know what music you want to listen to next and who's like the next big thing. These people started noticing the fact that I was moving towards the side and like doing something else. And nowadays in Brazil, it made me a really, really big headliner, because I started doing something that's completely different, and I started acknowledging the intelligence of the crowd. And to be honest with you, nowadays when I play a festival, even if it's like really commercial, I played like last week in Brazil with like super like Steve Angelo and like super commercial stuff, and I played my shit like all the way down super deep, and some people were just like standing there and staring at me. And at first I would like agree with you on the fact that you have no idea what they're thinking, and none of them were actually raving hard. But then you go back home and they start writing that it was an amazing set and they had a great time and they were in a trip and they went round and round with themselves. And for me, that even like nowadays, as I grow older, it means much more to me to like attract their intelligent side rather than make them jump every 16 bars with a drop. Not that that's a bad thing, but for me, like I feel like I'm over the part where I want to like play build-ups and drops because I've done it for so long, and it just made me feel like it's a never-ending chase after something that someone who's younger, who's more connected to the 18, 19, 20-year-olds would come at some point and do it better than you because he's closer to their age and he understands their mind way better than we do. And what I'm trying to get to is like, as an artist, you evolve. You always evolve. And I feel that if you feel like you've gotten to a point where you want to go deeper, then you should definitely go deeper and like just hope that people would want to go down that rabbit hole with you. Otherwise, I prefer that on like playing something that I don't believe in just to make the party work.
I mean, I think there's a combination of the two, right? Like you can play heavy stuff, make people like dance and have a good time, but also do it in like an intelligent and kind of like well finessed way that, you know, makes the heads also appreciate you.
Exactly.
And I think, yeah, that's kind of what I've been trying to do these days is like make bangers, but try and like do it in a way that I enjoy doing it. And I feel like if I enjoy doing it, then it's probably, you know, somewhat well finessed, because I feel like I only like extremely well crafted music. I feel like that, but maybe I don't. Maybe I like extremely bad music. I mean, that's subjectivity in music is so crazy, man. Like if no, like for instance, like millions of people like Justin Bieber, right? And I mean, I can take or leave Justin Bieber, is fine. But if millions of people resonate with a thing and like it that I don't resonate with, it's quite possible that I'm wrong, right?
I don't think it's a right or wrong thing. We can both look at a painting and you'll tell me that it's amazing and it makes you want to cry, and I'll look at it and I'll be like, I don't feel connected in any sort of way to it.
Right, but that's just us on a personal level. If you expand that to like a global scale, if billions of people like this painting and you don't like this painting, is it possible that painting like holds more value than another one objectively if only one person likes the other painting?
Yeah, but millions of people like McDonald's. I would rather shoot myself in the head than eat McDonald's.
Also true.
You know what I mean? I mean, in the end of the day, people treat you as the shepherd when you play a set. They want you to take them somewhere. And I would want to take them where I believe they should be going towards. You know what I mean? I would not want to take them where they think they want to go. I'm going up on stage to tell my story. Whether I'm going to touch each and every one of them, I have no idea. Like, I hope. But even if I can touch 50% of them, but in the most like genuine way possible, then I rather touch 50% of them rather than trying to make each one of them love me, which is why I chose to be an underground artist in a way, you know what I mean? And going back to like Justin Bieber, I think he's a great musician. I think he's a great artist, but I don't think he taps in to my point of view when it comes to how I want to play music at a party. You know what I mean? Like I have that compass that is like psychedelic, deep storytelling. And that's what, like when I listen to music and I decide whether I want to play it or not, it has to have that compass. And if it doesn't have that storytelling, deep, psychedelic, then I'm not going to play it. It has nothing to do with if it's Justin Bieber or someone else. You know what I mean? The genre doesn't matter. The BPM doesn't matter. It's just the energy or like whether I feel it and I want to, and I would stand behind it or I wouldn't. That's it. That's the only thing I ask myself.
True. Why do you think Marshmallows was such a big tune? I feel like that tune was like massive around the time it came out. Do you think it's the sample or do you think it's like...
I think it's the sample. I think it's the fact that Captain Hook was really big back then, and then that was like his, you know, breakthrough track. And I was just like, you know, I maybe I was at the right time, at the right place at the right time. You know, man, I was 21. I had no idea what I was doing, to be honest. Like, I was just like, I would go with the flow. I used to live with my parents back then, and it was just like, let's have fun. You know what I mean? Like, I remember when we finished it, Red Chef Captain Hook came up to me and he was like, listen, this track is kind of odd. It's kind of weird. I'm not sure it's going to work. I don't know if I want to release it. And I was like, you know, on my own, like I just stood there and I was like, dude, if you don't want it, I'll take it. I think it's a great tune. I think it's a great track. And then I remember he told me he played it to his friends on the way to a party, and they said, this track is amazing. It has to be the opening track of your album. And then he went with it, and that was the opening track of his album. And I think something about the fact that we went out of a very melodic, sort of like popish era in the Psytrance scene back then, and we were going like against that, and we just did something minimalistic, almost techno-ish, with like a very clear sample that says something really fun, you know, because like if you leave ketamine aside, then it's like it's talking about marshmallows, which is a nice thing. And, you know, like you can stand and like not listen to the music at all and just like go, you may even feel like you're walking on marshmallows. And it's like, it's a fun thing to say, and it's very catchy. And it's funny you asked that, because Astrix called me up like 2 days ago and he was like, dude, can you send me the sample of Marshmallows? I want to play it on my boom set. I was like, where did you like come up with that now after like 12 years? You know what I mean? It's so weird that people still want to play that in a way. But for me, it's just like, for so long, I tried to like hate myself for being part of that because it became so big. Because I will never forget that I walked down the street and I went into a clothing store and they played the track in a loop, and I went out of the store and a 14-year-old was listening to Marshmallows on their phone in the middle of the street, and I was like, what the hell is going on here? And I used to get videos from like big EDM artists who were playing it, and like every discotheque in every country around the world, people would travel and send me videos of it being played back then. And for me, it was like, we did not intend for it to become this commercial, you know, like we wanted to do something underground. But I think back to your question, I think it was just right place, right time, like an anti of whatever was going on back then. It was just like, you know, like the complete opposite of what was going on back then in the scene. And it just worked, you know, and then afterwards, the entire Psytrance scene just took a diversion, like everything went to that sort of like vibe in a way. Everything started sounding like Marshmallows in a lot of color. And then like, I think the next phase was like Vini Vici, who just took that and made it more musical and more catchy. And you know, the rest is history. But it was fun for a second to be in that place of like, you know, in front of like ahead of the curve in a way, which was nice. But yeah, man, it's been a long time.
Yeah, I feel like all genres do that, right? Like they stagnate for a while, everyone does the same shit, and then someone like Skrillex comes along and makes it completely new, and then it does the same shit for ages, and then someone like Skrillex comes along and makes it completely new again. And I feel like he has done that now for bass music like 3 or 4 times. It's like every time he puts out a new thing, that's the new thing that everyone latches onto and tries to create.
I have a really, like, you know, when you're a young musician or when you're an insecure musician, I can definitely understand why you want to follow something. You know what I mean? Which is not a bad thing.
It's
like,
safe.
It's safer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for me, I don't see the artistic sense behind it, because for me, it's like I go in the studio and I try to express myself as much as I can, regardless of what's going on outside. I ask myself the hard questions of like, what would I want to hear between the speakers, not what's hot right now. And that's the difference between the underground scene and the mainstream scene. When you're part of like the pop scene in a way, you always have to be like ahead of the curve with like what's going on right now, what's hot right now, what's the vibe right now, and it keeps changing every 5 minutes. And for me, it felt like back then, like you're chasing your own tail. You know what I mean? Like, and then someone like Fred again comes along and you're like, whoa, forget everything I said so far. This is the new hot thing. And then, you know, I would rather be once in like every forever, once in 5 or 10 years, bring something close to whatever they're doing in a way of like being to bring something new to the table, rather than like keep it safe and do what's hot right now and like just maintain a living. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I think the other thing is that so many people put so much of their identity into the music, as in like, you know, like if you pick on the music, then it's like you're picking on them personally. I feel like so many people identify with their own music in that way. And so they want to make something that they know nobody's gonna talk shit on, you know, because if they talk shit on it, it might like damage their ego.
Yeah,
or,
but
like,
that's
damage.
ego. That's ego, Bill. Ego has
Totally.
no place in art, in my opinion. It has no place in art. Like, I can tell you for a fact, knowing you for so many years, that when you used to live back in Australia and you were disconnected from society, and you were back then, you made like quirky, weird, out of the box shit. And then when you moved to the US, you kind of like came across society and money and shows and status and like the US basically in a way. And I feel like you've somehow managed to find the middle between what the world wants from Bill and what Bill wants. And sometimes you go more towards this direction, and sometimes you go back to who you were back then, like to your origins in a way. And I feel like the magic, like most of the magic, was actually when you were disconnected from reality, from society in a way, because then you didn't think about what would people say, whether it's going to be like even communicative in any way to like human beings. You just made it for yourself first and foremost. And you like, I would want to ask you in a way, do you feel like your move to the US actually changed the way you produce music nowadays, like the way you approach art?
Yeah, 100%. But I think that it has more value if it can also connect to many people. I think something that connects to nobody has value maybe to me and maybe to you as a producer, but it doesn't have a lot of value to the world. I think like, you know, there's plenty of tracks on SoundCloud that have like 50 plays that are insanely produced and no one listens to or connects with. I think music is much more powerful when it connects to a lot of people and brings a lot of people happiness. I think basically one of the only objective good things in music is that it brings people happiness or like makes them feel some sort of emotion, right?
Agreed.
And if you can make a bigger wave of happiness or a bigger wave of people feeling emotions, I think that is objectively better than not.
Yes, but I completely agree. And I get a lot of these messages of like people telling me, you know, what they went through with my music or how it helped them, and like psychedelic trips that they had and like festivals and stuff. And it's funny because the way they listen to the music is completely different than how I made it. Because when I made it, I just felt something on the inside and I went 100% with it. And then it came out and time went by and I already expressed what I was feeling. But then someone sits on the other side of the world and he listens or she listens to your music, and she looks at it or he looks at it from a completely different perspective. He like makes up a story around it. He connects to it. And what I'm trying to say is that if the art was made to begin with from a place of like truth and depth, then first of all, I think it will last longer. Second of all, I think it will connect with more people. And third, I feel like that's what we're here to do as musicians. I feel like we're here to express ourselves in an artistic way for people to connect with and make them either happy or sad or help them go through stuff. But for me, if the art wasn't made from a genuine place, people can hear it, people can feel it, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it has, maybe it's just from my point of view, maybe you can sit at home and like scribble stuff that you think it's gonna work, and it's just like it connects with everyone and it works. But for me, it never worked, you know? It always had to come from a very genuine place. And then, you know, you get to a point where you're like asking yourself, oh, I also want to play it and I want it to sound good. And then you start like producing it according to that, and you try to like bring through the story as much as you can, bring forward the story as much as you can for people to actually understand what you're trying to say. But I think truth is like the essence of art, for me at least. I can never make something for people to connect with if I'm not feeling it.
Totally. Yeah, no, I agree with you. But the good middle ground is if you feel it and then a lot of people feel it as well, right? And I feel like that's kind of the middle ground that I've tried to feel. Like, I don't not enjoy making my music, and I definitely don't sit there making it specifically so people will like it. Although I would prefer if people liked it. And I know what kind of things people prefer now from like experimenting a lot. But yeah, what you were just saying before, that's why I wrote Apophenia. Apophenia is like the...
Masterpiece.
Yeah, so the meaning of apophenia is, and I made that in America in like 2018. I'd already been living in America for like 4 years at that point. But the meaning behind apophenia is people making unrelated connections between things. So like, you know, the movie 23 where Jim Carrey starts seeing the number 23 everywhere or whatever, and he's like, oh, it must mean this, it must mean that. That's apophenia, right? Or like if you see like the number 6 and then later on you like see a car with 6 on the number plate and then you buy like 6 eggs at the store, you're like, oh my God, it must all mean something. So that's what apophenia means. And the reason I called it that is because I knew people were going to do that with the music. They were going to like hear it and have their own experience with it and like make their own connections with it.
That's beautiful.
And I can't really control that. And that's what that album was about. So yeah, I
That
agree with
album
you.
is a masterpiece, by the way. I have to tell you, it's that one album that I keep coming back to. Like Composite number 4 for me, it's just like I can listen to that track until the day I die. I feel like there's like an endless amount of art going on there. Patrick Leonard was like a fucking genius there. It's just like, man, it's such a good tune. And
you know that guy, the guy Patrick Leonard, he produced Like a Prayer by Madonna.
No way.
Yeah, he produced like so much shit in the 80s. He used to work with he worked with Pink Floyd, Madonna, like all of the people around that era.
How did you get to him?
So I was doing a show that had like a bunch of visuals, and there was this dude, Pickles, who was doing my visuals. And I just started hanging out with him a lot. We were doing shows a lot. He was always running my visuals. And then I found out his dad was just fucking Patrick Leonard.
Oh my God, what are the odds?
Yeah, I know, right? And then like this dude was living in Denver, but he grew up in LA, obviously. And yeah, he was just like, yeah, let's go hang out with my dad. And I went to his house, and he's just got like, he's super into Eurorack these days too. And at the time I was like very into Eurorack, so we like connected on that. And yeah, and then I was just like, hey, you want to like play some piano over this? And yeah,
and you just played him the tune and he just played over it?
Dude, that was like one take. Yeah, he didn't like that was like he just jammed over it the first time, and then I just took that and just left it. It was fine.
Fine? It's like it's crazy good. It's not.
Yeah,
fine.
that's what I mean. It's like you don't have to like adjust it at all. Like it sits in the mix like perfect.
What was he playing? What was it? Was it the Nord or something? Piano?
No, just piano. Yeah.
Like which one? Steinway or something?
Like a grand piano, like a proper piano. And
how did you record it? Like 2 microphones on the inside and like...
Yeah, just a couple of microphones. Yeah, the mics were already on there because he's just like there playing piano and recording it all the time. So it was already mic'd. I didn't have to do shit. He just like put the track in Logic and then played it in once and then gave me the file.
What a dream. You know, like these things, you know, like that's the beauty and like the magic of art. You know what I mean? Like stuff can happen. Because I remember like when I listened to that track, like it takes me back to so many places around the world where I just like sat down on my own and like listened to it back and forth. And I remember like every time I listen to it, it takes me back to so many places. And for you, it was just like, yeah, I made a track and then I sat down with Patrick Leonard and I recorded him and I took it home and then that's it. And it's part of my album. And it's amazing how you can do something so on the flow and then it just stays forever. And it touches me forever, and that's beautiful.
Yeah, he's a crazy piano. Like he played keyboards on the Michael Jackson Thriller tour, which is like to this day the biggest tour still that has ever happened. And yeah, he played keys at every show. So he was just like, he's been playing piano his whole life. He's been practicing forever, and the dude's just fucking next level, dude. Like he's just an insane piano player. So like, yeah, for him, like that was probably a shitty take, but for me it was like perfect.
Yeah, you know, that's what we usually say, you know what I mean? It's like for someone like him, it's just like, you know, he scribbled it, he did it like so randomly, and then like it was just one take. And for people like us, it's just like God just played keyboards for you.
Well, for us also, it's like we listen to electronic music, right? And like I could probably make a beat in like 20 minutes and give it to somebody who never actually fucks with production, and they're probably like, this beat is so crazy. Whereas like for him, he listens to like, you know, and does nothing but play piano. So
yeah,
for him, he's probably like, yeah, meh. But like for us, some like who we aren't like super attuned to like what a good piano sounds like or what good playing sounds like. To him, it's just like whatever, probably. But dude, there was this lady staying at his house named I can't remember her name, but fuck, she was way more insane at piano. She was like a classical pianist, and she had massive hands, and she could like reach like 20 keys on the piano, and she was doing all this insane shit. She was really crazy. I got to figure out her name and send you a link later. It started with an I, I guess.
It reminds me of something like the first time you came to my place, and then I saw you on Ableton, and I remember sitting next to you, and it was like, I saw you working, and I was like, this is way out of my league. So I remember telling you, dude, I'm just going to stay back here and I'm just going to let you work. I just want to learn. Like, I have no idea what's going on. It was just like, you were a machine back then. Like, now you're even like, you're not even human. But like, back then, I remember looking at you working and it was like, how are you even human? Like, I remember you working so quickly. And I think like the most impressive part was how tuned your ear is to like tuning, because you do it so quickly and it's like 20 cents here, 15 cents there, and I'm like, how the fuck do you do that? Are you like I'm trying to understand if you have like a superhuman hearing or something, or it's just something you developed along the years?
So I'm a believer of like mix downs pretty much fine if all of the arrangement is fine. And I've spent years like chasing my own tail trying to mix things that are out of tune with each other and can never figure out why they're clashing. And so when I've like started to figure out that if everything is just in tune and in phase, you don't really have to do much to it. And so I guess like I've just practiced that a lot, and I can just like, instead of hearing that there's a mix problem at like 500 hertz or whatever, I can just hear that two things are not playing the same note, and that's why it's an issue. And so I just tune stuff a lot. But dude, even faster than me, I think, is Erez. That guy is insane. I like watched him on Cubase once, and he doesn't even touch the mouse. It's just all key commands. Yeah, it's crazy.
He plays live, man. I remember when I went to LA to write a track with Infected, it was just unreal, man. Unreal. Erez is a magician, man. Like, he has this shortcut for everything, and it just like he writes so quickly, and he's like, yeah, do you want to have a melody? Yeah, man, let me just play something real quick, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, what the fuck did you do that, man? Like, how do you do it?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, half of the melodies that you hear in the albums, you're like, oh man, that must have taken so long to program. But no, it's just him. Yeah, it's just him playing it. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. I think a lot of the magic is what they're doing afterwards, like the way they process things. That's a lot of the Infected Mushroom sort of like magic. But you made another track with them, right, for the last album?
Yeah, and we just finished another one, which is going to go on my... Yeah, that one will be on my album, which is going to come out pretty soon.
That's good.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. It's not quite finished, but it's pretty close.
Better than the last one?
I didn't like the last one very much.
I know. That's why I'm asking if it's better than the last one, because it wasn't.
I think it's a lot better. Yeah, the one we did before that with you was sick. I like that one.
That was a good one, man. That was a fun one. Like, I was so happy we made it. Like, I remember I had to fly to LA to make it happen. You remember? It was like, if I don't fly to LA right now, we're not having like this collaboration happening. And I was like, in my mind, saying like, there's no way. I've managed to connect this whole thing together, and it's not going to happen. So I just flew down to LA, and I was like, I'm here, guys. Let's finish this. We have this.
I'm also curious, like, why was I included on that tune? Because I remember you hitting me up going like, let's make a tune with Infected. And like, I hadn't spoken to you for a while at that point. I was like, why are you hitting me up for this? Why don't you just do it? Like,
I'll tell you why. Because first of all, I think of you as like one of the... I'm not saying this because you're in the room right now, wherever you are at the moment, like not because you're in front of me, but I actually like say this to people. You are like, in my 20 years of experience, you are definitely in the top 3 of like the best musicians I've ever came across in any genre, in any field, in any way. And for me, it was just like, I remember I sent my second album to Infected, and Duvdev listened to it, and he was like, listen, this Shreya tune, banging, love it. And I love Mr. Bill. And then my head started spinning, and I was like, wouldn't it be cool if we connect my shit, Bill's shit, and Infected shit? Because I remember that you told me that you grew up on Infected Mushroom. So I knew, I knew that it would mean a lot to you. and we've been friends for ages, and I just when you have an opportunity and you want to take a good friend with you in a way, and you also know that this friend is going to bring a lot to the table, obviously, otherwise you would never do that. But like, I knew that you were going to bring something to the table. I knew that it would make this whole collaboration weird, because you're going to bring your vibe, I'm going to bring my vibe, they'll bring their vibe, and it felt like the right thing to me. And that's the reason I remember I called you up and I was like, I think you were working on a track with Deadmau5 back then, or you just like finished the tune with Deadmau5 or something like that.
Yeah, it was around that time for sure.
Yeah, and I was just like, dude, leave everything. I remember you told me you grew up with Infected Mushroom. We have a shot, let's fucking do it. And we did it really quickly. I remember you sent me something after a day. I worked on it. I sent it to Duvdev, and they sent me something back after a week. And I just, it's just like, it's a memory for us to have. Now you've done like 6 tracks with them, or 5 tracks, so it's like
3 now, like including our one. This new one would be 3. Yeah,
it's nice, but like, I remember the first time I came back to my apartment in West Hollywood, and I will never forget it. I just like laid on the floor, left my phone aside, looked up to the ceiling, and I said, we just made a track with our childhood heroes. And it's these moments where you stop and you say thank you for stuff that if I would tell you that would happen like 20 years ago, you'd be like, there's no way on earth that I would like collaborate with my childhood heroes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, if you asked me that when I was 18, like, am I going to have a collab with Infected Mushroom? I'd be like, no fucking way.
You see? So that's just like, it's these moments, we don't appreciate, because we're on the run all the time. We're just like moving, and it's like, even for you, I remember you told me about the track with Deadmau5. I was like, wow, man, I don't even know what to say, because like, I grew up on Deadmau5 in a way from 2008, from Faxing Berlin, and to see someone like one of my friends collaborate with them, it's just like, it's the happiest feeling, you know what I mean? Because it is big. We can look at it from like we make fun of everything, and we're like very sarcastic, and we can like make fun of it in a way, but it's big in a way, and these moments are moments that we should appreciate. And when they do happen, I try to leave all the sarcasm aside for a second and just be very grateful. And if I can bring my friends along and like come up with a better result, then why the fuck not, man? The more the merrier.
Yeah, I feel that. Have you got any collabs going on at the moment with any big people? You should do a collab with Vinny Vici. That'd be sick.
I did.
You did?
Yeah,
Is it out?
It's out. We did it like during COVID, so it went through the like under the radar in a way. It went over the 1 million and all that stuff, but like we did it in a time where no one wanted to listen to dance floor music. But yeah, I did it. I'll be honest with you. I feel like I'm sort of like at the edge of my. I'm pretty much happy with what I've achieved in the Psytrance scene. Like, I've worked with everyone from like Vinny Vici, Astrix, Infected, and like I'm pretty much fed up. I'm like happy with what I had so far, and I decided in the last 2 years to just go to like other directions. So
But it's still like 4/4, right? Like still a kick on every.
Yeah, definitely. It's 4/4, and it's still, like I said, psychedelic, trippy, dance floor oriented music. But
so it's like Psytrance influenced techno kind of.
Exactly. So I just did I've been I finished a remix I did for Dusty Kid, and then my real childhood hero, which is Richie Houghton. He played it, like he opened his show, like 3 of his shows with the remix I did for Dusty.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's Balaton Sound Festival, and the one in Barcelona, which I don't remember, a really, really big one, and another one. And for me, it was just like, and then Anna played it on BBC One, Weber played it, Victor Ruiz, and like a bunch of guys from the techno scene. And, it just made me happy because I play a lot of like dark techno, and to be able to tap into a scene where no one knows who I am, but just based on the music, they're willing to like play my shit. And for me, it's like opening a new door to a new place where I've never been to. So that's where I'm tapping into right now. And I'm working with, I'm finishing an album with Modus. He's a Psytrance artist from my label Stereo Society.
Yeah, we have a track on that too, right?
Yeah. We have a track there as well, and we're working on it really hard. And it's like psychedelic, quirky, weird, funny, sarcastic. We're just trying to make fun of everything because I'm tired of like serious music and like I'm too sarcastic for that shit. You know what I mean? I just want to have fun nowadays. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is that I'm trying to open myself to as many different colors that I'm willing to play in my sets in a way. But I'm pretty much fed up with doing more regular. Like I've never been an artist to make like the regular Psytrance, but I don't want. I'm not chasing like another Psytrance record, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I love that scene and I love playing the Psytrance scene, and it's my home. But like the way it looks right now, with like there's a lot of music that I'm not feeling at the moment. Like a lot of it is stuff that I'm not fully connected with. There are like maybe 10 artists or like 9 artists on the Psytrance scene that I'm really, really connected to what they do. And like I would work with those people, but like the majority of how Psytrance sounds nowadays is not exactly my cup of tea.
Have you made any house stuff, like John Summit type stuff or anything like that? I feel like that shit. Dude, that shit at the moment, like Dom Dollar, like all that kind of stuff. I love that shit, dude. It's so sick.
It's really good stuff. But again, I think we had a conversation about it. What happens in the US, a lot of times, it moves to like, you can see it on big festivals in Europe, and you see it in like in London a lot of times, but it doesn't get here. Like in Israel, we don't come across that stuff like almost at all. Something about Israel is always like very psychedelic oriented. Like even the techno that gets here is usually psychedelic in a way. And I am drawn towards more either very psychedelic stuff, doesn't matter what genre, or stuff like Fred again. For me, it's just like, I think he came up with something that is like completely fresh and makes me like ask myself how did he do something that sounds so simple yet so cool in a way,
Yeah, like good songwriting.
Yeah, what do you think about him?
I think he's great. Yeah, I think he's a smart songwriter. Same with Skrillex. It's like they'll do something that you can hear didn't require a lot of like technical skill, but because the writing is so clean and the writing is so good, it sounds so fucking perfect, and just like it's catchy. All the production sounds fine because everything's just in place. Like it's the right sound at the right time every time. And like, yeah, I think artists like that are just really smart songwriters more so than like really good producers.
Have you seen what Skrillex said about Rumble with Fortet?
No, what did he say?
He said that Fortet had a big role on Rumble because he made sure that they're not overproducing it.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that makes sense. Him, Fortet, and Fred again are like really good friends, it seems like. But yeah, that makes sense. I mean, Fortet's stuff is got that vibe to it. Where
they're
like,
not overproduced vibe, and you can hear it on Rumble. Like Rumble is really clean, simple, straight to the point. Not one sound that shouldn't be there. Not many layers. Like I remember you basically rewrote the whole track, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do that as an exercise a lot. Like if there's a track I hear and I'm like, that's a really well produced, smart written track. I find if I like copy it and I make it just as an exercise, it like helps me kind of figure out like what it is that makes that song work, and then I can like take that concept to my own stuff.
What do you think worked on Rumble?
Like you just said, it's written in a really smart way. It's not overproduced. There's not many layers. That kind of, yeah. It's just clever. Like the writing is just clever.
I felt it throughout most of his new album, actually. Like the one that he did with Noisia, the one we like. What's his name?
Supersonic, you mean?
Oh, no, Supersonic wasn't. No,
the track Supersonic.
The one that we.
The one with Sleepnet.
Yeah, with Sleepnet.
Yeah. Tears.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's with Joker as well. Yeah, again, it's like really smart track.
So good. Like it's so well made, and it sounds. I know it's not simple, or it is, but it sounds so smart. You know what I mean? It's like, let me show you how it's done, straight to your face, but like in an intelligent way. and like with sounds that you've heard before but didn't, like, not in this specific way, in a way, you know what I mean? Still, it finds a way to make everything sound fresh.
Yeah, totally. It's just, yeah, it's really good songwriting. I feel like electronic music as a whole has kind of like swung in a lot of different directions over the years. And I feel like overproduction and like going maximalist with everything is a direction in which it swung. And then, you know, after Skrillex, you had it swing all the way back to Flume, which kind of like just vibes, like straight vibes. And then you had to swing all the way back, like slowly to the overproduced bro step shit. And now it's sort of like coming back to somewhere between the overproduced shit and the vibe shit. It's like, I feel like it's a pendulum swinging that'll eventually like find itself in the middle. Pretty much probably like every genre does, you know. It's like back in the 80s and shit, it went full disco and everyone had weird hair and was making weird music. And then it went full fucking metal. And then it like, you know, it slowly finds the middle point in pop music.
And then rock and roll showed up and it's like, yeah. Where do you find yourself nowadays musically?
Well, I feel like the same thing. I feel like I'm sort of a pendulum swinging where I started like completely weird, and then I maybe went like too simple, and then like I'm slowly, I think, trying to find myself like somewhere in the middle of all the things I enjoy. And I think you'll probably find that you'll do the same. Like you won't completely quit Psytrance, you won't completely, like maybe you'll go completely techno, and you'll come back and like find yourself somewhere in the middle of techno and Psytrance.
That's like a very important business decision to manifest to young artists. I always say to people, like when I work on like really weird shit, and then like some artist or a friend is like sitting in my studio and listens to it, and he goes like, it's good, but it's pretty fucking weird. Like, I'm not sure you can play it. I'm not sure you can like release this. And I always say like, it doesn't even fucking matter. All that matters is that you go too far to an uncharted territory and you find fruit that you never found before, and then like you eat that fruit for a while and you can like live off of that fruit for a while, but then you go back to your charted territory and you brought something, even some of that fruit back with you, and then you can incorporate it in your meals. You know what I mean? It's about going too far in order to bring something back and then make your new sound more unique in a way. But you have to go far for a second, like once in a while, in order to like maintain freshness, sort of.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think like part of that exercise I was telling you about is like for that reason, instead of like going to the uncharted territories in a way where I'm like, I'm making something to play and something to release, I'm just like, I'm going out to uncharted territories and like trying to make something that I would never write before, like a house tune or remake Rumble or something like that. And then I'm able to bring something back from that.
Yeah.
And I think that's a smart way to do it, because then you feel like there's nothing on the line, you know, like you're not putting anything on the line, yet you still get to explore.
That's the vibe. I wanted to ask you something, because like a few days ago, a friend of mine was here and I wanted to show him like a live set of yours from like YouTube, you know, you playing at a festival. Do you have a lot of those? Because I couldn't find them.
I have two on my channel. I have one of me playing at Red Rocks, and then I have one that a full set, yeah. Cool. And then I just put one up like last week or something, which is me and Chris Killsmith playing together as Kill Bill at Infrasound like a month ago. So that would probably be the one to show him, because that's the most current one. Yeah.
That's usually like, is it something you guys do a lot in your scene, like uploading full? Because in our scene, it's like it's a very common thing, you know, to like upload a full video of like. I think
it's getting more common, I think. Yeah, it does help, I think. Like people, you know, if they're going to make a decision to spend their money to come and see you or whatever, they want to know that they're going to have a good time. So I think if they can see sets beforehand and be like, oh, it's going to be something like that, then they can maybe like decide more or easily or something.
Yeah, I remember you told me that you had a point where you didn't play the same track twice or something. You remember that?
No. I don't. It's not that I don't play the same track twice, but I don't play the same set twice.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, like I rebuild the set every time.
But it's still pre-recorded, or like, what do you mean?
No. It's not pre-recorded. Like I build it all in Ableton, and I like make a bunch of mashups of like many different tunes. And then I make it like an hour long, and then I render all the parts out so I can like mix them live or whatever. But you wouldn't play the same mashup twice? No, I make new ones every time.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Why? I mean, you keep seeing different types of people, then why would you like not make a good mashup, play it for a season. We call it seasons in our scene, and then like that's it. You did it for a season, and then like you go, you bring something new. But why change? It's different crowds. Like I mean, why do that? Why not let other people enjoy it as well?
Yeah, I mean, I do sometimes like play the same thing like a couple of times or whatever, but it'll be in a different order. It'll be mixed with a different thing, and maybe there'll be like another layer over it or something like that. So it's always like slightly different, but it's like derivative of the same, like, I don't know, 100 or 200 tracks that I like to play,
How many in one set?
Like 100 or 200 roughly, but it's like at any point in the set there'll be like 2 or 3 playing. So
at the same time, yeah.
Yeah,
we
but
do that as well. I do that as well, but like 100 sounds extreme for 1 hour.
So if you play 3 at a time, or even 3 at a time, then that's like 30 mixes basically, right? 30 tracks in an hour. But like 30.
But then like
3.
okay, so you play a main track. Like let's say the way I do it is like I have like 4 CDJs, okay? So I have a main track playing and then another track playing on top with like the lows down and like some of the mids out, whatever. And then another loop from another track. And then everything is like being played together. That's what you mean when you say 3 tracks at the same time?
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, cool.
It kind of sounds like one. And then the mix between the 3, because it's not as like simple as 4/4 music, I think. Because a lot of 4/4 music, like you can play it over the top of one another and it sounds okay. Whereas a lot of broken beat shit, there can be like kicks going everywhere and snares going everywhere. It's like really hard. So to just like on the fly play 3 at once. So I produce it all and cut bits out and stuff that are fucking shit up.
Do you master it together or something? Or like compress everything?
Yeah, I do. But like usually the mastering is just like a saturator on the group, which just clips the tops off. So it's not really like mastering. It just kind of like stops it from
more
clipping.
like limiting.
Just clipping. Like it just chops the tops off, so it's just a brick, yeah.
So it's like one big sausage.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, the whole set is just a giant sausage.
The EDM sausage. You remember that time, like 10 years ago, the EDM sausage? Everything just looks like a fucking sausage, man.
It looks even worse these days, man. It's
really?
way worse. Yeah, totally.
These
days
it's just backwards, like, man. We're going to like -6, 7, 5. Like I don't.
5 is a brick, dude. Like 5 lufs, that's a chunky brick.
No, it's like -5 on the RME. I don't know how much it is.
Yeah, -5 lufs is like pretty loud.
No, what's his name? Spotify is like -14 lufs. No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. -5 lufs is pretty loud.
The fuck? No one gets to -5. I meant on the on like RME. Like I have no idea how much it is in.
I think you might be talking about what's that? RMS, not
RMS. Not lufs.
Yeah.
I have no idea how much it is in lufs.
Yeah, I measure in lufs. I don't know why.
Because all like fucking YouTube and Spotify, they're all in lufs. They're not in
yeah, I think so.
In RMS. That's cool.
Yeah. So, what made you pick the name Freedom Fighters?
Wow. I was young, stupid, and that's it. I was just 15, bro, when I met. Like we haven't done an introduction here because probably we don't need to. But like, man, I've never had a job. Like I've never done anything else besides music. So I was just when I was 14, I came across a compilation called Freedom Fighters that came out in like the Psytrance scene, and I was like, oh, I finished a few sketches. I need a name. What do I go with? And it was like, yeah, Freedom Fighter sounds good. Yeah, and then it kind of connected because my name is Shahaf, which is basically a seagull, which is a bird, and then like freedom and blah blah blah, and then I connected it in my head.
That's apophenia right there, dude.
Yeah, maybe, probably because I just like the name Freedom Fighters. It sounded good because everything back then was Psy something, like Psycraft, Psytech, Psydrop, Psy this, and I was like, I would rather die than be part of that thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for some reason, Freedom Fighters sounded good. It was like Freedom Fighters, just sounded epic in a way. And I'm pretty happy with it. But it's been a long time, and it's just like since since 2005, I think, when I chose the name. So that's like, it's been a fucking while. Jesus.
I think if I could like rebrand, like if I could start again, I would have just made my name Bill Day, like just my actual name.
You can still do that, man.
I don't want to. It's going to be a pain in the ass to change everything.
Yeah, but like Mr. Bill is so fucking good, man. It's so condescending in a way. It's like Mr. Bill. It's like, I love it. It's like, for me, it's a great name. But yeah, Bill Day. Dude, if I would have like not a non-Israeli name, then I would choose that. You know what I mean? But like having an Israeli name is such a pain in the ass because no one.
Your last name. Your one's pretty easy to pronounce, so it's just Efrat, right? Shahaf
Yeah,
Efrat.
so it's not that, but it's not. It doesn't roll. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel natural.
I think
Like,
so.
it's not like, dude, it's not like Bill Day. You sound like a 007 agent, bro. It's not. Yeah, you cannot compare it. It's not on the same level.
Yeah.
Do you? I wanted to ask you for a while now. Do you miss Australia?
Not really, man. I mean, so for the first year that I lived in America, I did. And then I went back to Australia for some shows, and I was like, it's not really my vibe. Then I went back to America, and then I missed it again. So I went back to Australia the next year, and I was like, I fucking hate this place.
Really?
And then I mean, I don't know. Like, my life there is not that good. My life here is much better. For a visitor, you know, like who's just staying in hotels and playing shows and hanging out in the cities and eating the food and all that stuff, Australia's probably amazing. But my particular life there, I don't really enjoy.
Yeah, I remember you told me about it. I'm just like, I'll be honest, man. Like every time I get to Melbourne, like I'm going back in October, and I'm like, I'm waiting for it. You know, like it's just.
Melbourne is cool. That's where I lived the last like 6 months I lived in Australia, and Melbourne is really cool. I lived in the city, and that was a good time. But in general, like when I go back now, and I don't have like if I went back to Australia and I like lived in Melbourne, I'd probably enjoy it. But yeah, just I don't know, like my current situation there is
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I understand.
shitty.
Do you?
But I will say also, when I live there, I find it hard to like pay for shit because like there's no real like I don't get many shows there. You know, my music is not really big there. Whereas when I'm here, like you know, I make a lot of money. I can live really comfortably. I like just bought a house. You know, like it's like my life here is just 10, 15 times better. Yeah.
Are you? Do you think you have a better social life there or in Australia?
Now probably here, but obviously I probably have more friends in Australia, but I never really like hung out with them anyway when I was in Australia because I lived in like an hour and a bit north of Sydney, so I was like never really
Fucking hate that place, man.
Sydney?
I don't know why. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. Like I get there and everything feels fake in a way. Like over.
So it's a very commercial like, business.
Yeah, I mean, I get there and I'm like, ugh. And like you go to Melbourne and it's like more hippie and it's nice and there's a lot of art and it reminds me more of Tel Aviv and like LA to some extent. But like I go to Sydney and it's like I don't get the vibe, man. I don't get it.
The culture is better in Melbourne for sure, but Sydney, like there's the best beaches in the world there. That's the cool thing about Sydney. Basically, if you're super into going to
beaches in Sydney.
Yeah. Yeah, Melbourne, I think like Sydney has better weather too, I think. Like the weather in Melbourne is like cold or extremely hot. In Sydney it's just like
they call it the Four Seasons City.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, dude. I've like experienced some of the coldest winters in Melbourne. It's like, cause like I lived in Denver too, and I lived in Denver when it was sometimes like negative 20 degrees Celsius. And I think it was worse in Melbourne because no one is set up for the cold there. Like no one has insulation in their walls or anything. Whereas in Denver, everyone's house is like fully insulated. It's got crazy heating so you can deal with it.
Man, I see a bunch of like analog stuff behind you. What happened, Bill?
Yeah, I came to your house.
Every time you come back from my place, you just like go on a shopping spree and like buy things.
Well, yeah, I mean, I figured like, you know, sometimes like you made a good point, which is like, if you just want the sound of that synth, just buy the fucking synth. Like no analog emulation plugin is like going to be the exact same. And it has a different vibe to it, you know, like it's, playing with a plugin will inspire me to do completely different things than playing with a hardware synth. So I did a bit of shopping or like a bit of research, and I was like, all right, like I just want to get like the bare minimum. So I was like, I want like something that's very, very analog sounding, like old. And then I want something that's very functional, but also like has analog filters and stuff. So I got the Polybrute for that, and then the old sounding one, I got the OB6.
The OB6 is crazy good.
It's so sick, dude. Like
Crazy
I,
good. The
I
polyend is
prefer
good as well that you have there.
the tracker.
Yeah, the tracker.
Yeah, I also have the play as well. This one, which is like
Ooh.
this one's more like a step sequencer, and the other one's a tracker, which runs all downwards.
Yeah, it's a sequencer basically.
Yeah.
I just bought a new one. I brought a new one that you should need. You wait 3 years to get it. It's called the Cirklon. All the Cirklon. All the techno guys use it.
It's a sequencer.
It's a sequencer, and you need to wait for like 2 or 3 years before you can purchase it. They have a waiting list. Yeah, I haven't connected it yet because I bought a Jupiter 4 and like a bunch of other stuff for my studio. So I'm gonna like take everything out and then like rebuild it again.
Oh no, you can get a used. You can get a used Cirklon for like 2,500 off Reverb.
You found it now? No, but which one? 1 or 2?
V1.
No. This is 2. The 2 one is like
you can get 2, but it's
$4,000 maybe.
3,400. Yeah.
Okay, you know how much it costs when you wait for it? 1,800.
Oh shit. Okay. Yeah.
So that's like twice the price.
Yeah, that's also true. But 3 years, dude.
Yeah, I waited 2 years. Yeah.
The other thing, my friend lent me this, but I really like it, is the Electron Analog Heat. Have you used that?
Yeah, I know it.
It's like a hardware distortion. It's good, man. Like I run my masters through it now.
Really?
And yeah, it's kind of like the Culture Vulture, I feel like, but maybe not quite as good. But it's like different.
Yeah.
But I really like the sound of it. I feel like it gives the track or whatever you put through it like more presence, but it doesn't actually add volume. So
like the Culture Vulture.
Yeah, right. Like peak level is the same, but like it just sounds louder.
I just love what the Culture Vulture does. It's just like it's magic. Like I've never found anything remotely close to it via like VSTs or any.
There's a Culture Vulture VST.
It sounds like.
Right? Do you have it?
I had it. Like I did like tests with Pixel on it, and it's not even remotely close to.
I'd be curious to hear the difference if you can like send me some differences, like with the exact same settings on both. Because I watched a video recently of this dude doing a. Do you know the 500 series, like the Lunchbox EQs and all that sort of stuff, like the API shit?
Mm-hmm.
So he did a test between the hardware version of that and the plugin, and he's like going between them.
An EQ.
It was like a few different things, like a compressor and EQ, like
not
but
a distortion. That you can remodel that very easily. EQs and and EQs and compressors are like a waste of money to buy out gear, like an outboard, if you ask me. Distortions that's based on
it's like non-linear.
Yeah, there's no way to do it, man. No way. It's like electricity running through what's it called? Forgot.
A tube.
Yeah, like a tube, exactly. So there's no I don't think they've managed to do something in this level yet. Maybe one day, but now.
It's like they got to figure out like the certain flavor of random number generation to be able to do it. And
it's very hard to remodel it, but probably now with AI and everything, then I'm pretty sure they'll get to it at some point.
Yeah, dude, I've been using AI. Yeah,
so you to use it.
I've been using it a lot for sound generation. So I feed it like 1,000 basses that sound a certain way, and then I train the model for like 4 or 5 hours, and then I can just I have models now to just generate basses for me. I barely do sound design anymore.
Really?
I don't have to. I just have models now that generate most of my sounds. I'll send you some after this call. They're fucking like really good sounds. Yeah, it's really sick. I could like train them.
Something, or do you tell them what you want, or how does it work?
No. You train a model on sound. So like for instance, do you have like folders of Psytrance kicks? You could probably like if you sent me like a ton of Psytrance kicks, I could train a model on those kicks, and then I could just generate like 1 million more, and they would all sound like different flavors of those kicks that I was trained on.
If I'll send you a bunch of like hard techno tracks that I really want to know how they made the sound design, can you like teach the model to come up with something like that?
If you have like the kicks, yeah.
Interesting.
Or like if you have the sounds as samples and you have like folders of those sounds, then I can train a model on how to just make those.
Where do you think it's going to end? Like at some point it's going to be, like man versus machine. And like, I think the only thing that humans can like do better than machines is like to feel, obviously. Then what do you think is like that meeting point where we'll be like, a lot of people are going to use AI to make music, and like it's going to send a lot of people to make music that is based on like their emotion, because that's the only thing that you cannot teach a machine, probably. Or I don't know, like where do you see this going, this whole AI versus electronic music?
So I have a theory. Like, okay, so for you to get how good you are at music right now, it's taken you 20 years, right? And for like, you know, Bill Gates to get as good as he is at coding now, it's taken him like 50 years. But all of a sudden, if it takes me one day to be as good of a musician as you, one day to be as good as a programmer as Bill Gates, one day to be as good as a 3D visual artist as Beeple, then all of a sudden I have like all the skill sets in the world at my disposal, and I can combine them in any way that I want to make crazy shit.
The Matrix.
I suppose. And I feel like at that point, like the combinations of things that people make are just going to be like insane for a while, and then AI will just be able to make the combinations too, probably. But I think like what art is, right, is it's like more not doing things than doing things. Like if you do everything in the world in art, it becomes white noise. But it's like what you choose not to do, I think, that makes it like your art and all that stuff. And also another point is like, how often do you hear like a piece of music that you wouldn't change anything about? To me, it's like rare. I barely ever hear music. Like, yeah, so even if you have music generating everything off every piece of music or whatever, there's still shit that I'll be like, I don't want that, I don't want that, I want to add this other thing, like all this kind of shit. So like I never think AI will be able to like, it'll be able to generate like replications of your stuff that already exists, but it won't be able to create new shit, and it probably won't sound as genuine, I don't think, at least in its current state, but who knows.
Yeah, but I imagine how, like, you can see how fast it progresses. I don't know what's going to happen in 5 years. It's going to be bananas.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, we'll see, I guess.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
We'll see where it takes us.
Hopefully it doesn't kill everyone, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Sick. Well, hey, man, thanks for doing this podcast with me. It was really good to catch up and chat. And yeah, I appreciate you giving me the time of day.
And thank you for inviting me. I had a great time as always. And it's funny, it didn't feel like any podcast or anything. It just felt like us having a normal Bill Shahaf conversation.
Yeah, that's how I like the podcast to be, is just normal, you know, just recording a conversation, nothing like interviewee about it or anything.
Nah, fuck that shit, man.
I think that's what people like too. They like to hear two people just like shooting the shit and talking
How many people have you had so far?
This would be like episode 115 or 120 or something, so I've got a bunch now.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of conversations.
Are they all on YouTube?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Cool, I'm going to check it out.
All on Apple Podcasts, all on Spotify Podcasts, etc. I just did one with Infected actually like 2 days ago.
Really?
Yeah, that'll be out on like Thursday, and then I think our one will be out on the following Thursday.
Amazing. I'm going to watch that as well. I wanted to watch the one you did with that guy that has all the... I'm following him on Instagram. That guy
Richard
that has
Devine?
all... Yes.
Yeah.
God.
Dude, I passed out in that interview and cracked my head open.
What?
Yeah, he like told me this story about a heart surgery that he had, and it freaked me out, and I just fell off my chair and cracked the back of my head open, and I had to stop the podcast.
Is it on camera?
Yeah, it's on the podcast.
Ouch, Bill.
Yeah, it's wild.
Oh my God, I'm going to watch it. So happy you didn't die. I'm so happy you didn't die in the last few years, really.
Yeah, me too, dude. That could have been bad. Yeah, here, check this out. Like, here, ready? Watch this. If I go share my screen. Dude, the fucking... there we go. All right, let's share. Wait. Window. Yeah, this. I woke up to this. Wait, is it not? Oh, what the fuck, dude? Clicking on anything down here on this bar is really tricky.
What is this Riverside thing? Is it? I've never even heard of it.
It's basically, is that working? Yeah, nice. It's basically a podcasting app, and it like records your video and your audio locally on your end.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So I passed out, and then I woke up to this on the floor.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Is there a video of it? Like pass. I don't know where it is, but like, yeah, there's a video somewhere of me just like passing out and then like cracking the back of my head open. I'm waking up and being like, fuck, all right, I gotta go to the hospital.
No way. Just because he told you a story about what happened to him?
Yeah, it's called vasovagal syncope, like where you see blood and freak out, or where like somebody tells you a story and it makes you pass out. And I suffer from it pretty bad.
It sounded like human centipede, but it's not.
Not human centipede, but close. For some reason, I don't really freak out at movies, but like I freak out about like surgery shit. Like
Really?
if somebody tells me about a surgery, or like I have to go get a surgery or something, like I just freak the fuck out.
I think my brother has the same thing. You know, he cannot see blood. Like every time you talk to him about blood, or like he cannot see blood, it like gets to a point where he's like, no, thank you, I'm off. But you to the next level, my friend.
Yeah.
You were sitting down.
I was sitting down and I just passed out sitting down and fell off my chair and like banged my head on the floor.
That is not ouch. Okay, and what did he do? Like Richard just stayed there and he was like, Bill.
No,
Bill.
so he didn't. Oh, here, I found the movie. Yeah, one sec. Here, let's watch it.
Oh my god, I would pay
Hold
to
on.
be there.
Yeah, here, hold on. I'll share it and we can watch it. Yeah, you can see what he does here. All right, can you see this?
Yeah.
Can you hear the audio?
No.
Wait, did you say yes or no?
I said no.
Okay, well, don't worry about the audio, but like, here, I'll just like.
Fuck the
walk you
audio.
through
It's
it.
okay. Never mind. I just want to see it.
Yeah, so you can see I'm getting like sick here while he's telling me this story, and then check this out. I pass out, like you can see me pass out right here, and then watch. I just like can barely get up. I'm like trying to get up and continue the conversation, but like you can see my eyes are just fucking
Oh my
dead.
god!
Yeah, I'm like just wigging out.
Bill,
Basically.
when was it?
This was a few years ago. It was before I was addicted to drugs.
Okay, yeah, this is what I wanted to ask. Okay.
Yeah, and then check it out. I just fall over and just like bang my head on the floor, and he's just laughing. I think he thought I was like fucking around or something, and then he's just like still telling this story for like 10 minutes, man.
Oh
and
my
then like
god.
yeah, and then like I finally get up and go like, what the fuck, and I'm all like wigged out and like can barely fucking get up and shit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and I like wake up and I like see the blood and I'm like, oh fuck, this isn't good. Like, yeah, and then I just went and like I was just passing out on the floor, and then I like laid in my bed for a while, and then I came back with a towel and I was like, I gotta stop this podcast.
It doesn't like he's not there. Like he doesn't understand what you told him what happened at some point.
Yeah, but I mean, it's such a crazy thing to tell someone, right? Like I just passed out and split my head open. I gotta go now to the hospital. They're like, wait, what? like springing that information.
Yeah,
on
and you
something.
guys are not like best friends or something. You just like it.
Yeah,
feels
exactly. So
uncomfortable.
yeah, he might think that it's just like, you know, me, like my sense of humor or something, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
so
That is fucking weird, man. It wouldn't happen to anyone in the world besides you.
yeah, I know, dude. But yeah, this story that he told me was crazy, like about the heart surgery that he had. It was fucking freaky.
He's a very, very unique individual. I would love to see it. I'm gonna watch the episode right now.
Nice, cool. All right,
Yeah.
dude. Well, hey, man.
Man, thank
I
you for
appreciate you
having
coming
me.
on.
Love you very much, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, dude. Cheers.
Cheers. Have a good one.
Yo, what's up? Thanks for listening to the Mr. Bill podcast. This show is produced and edited by Robert Fumo. You can get early access to the show by going to my website, MrBillsTunes.com, and paying me instead of Patreon. And remember to go rate and review on iTunes, or I'm going to come to your house and punch your dog in the throat, upper deck your toilet, and fuck your partner. Note, I may or may not do those last couple of things. You should probably just go rate it on iTunes or Spotify or whatever it is that you listen to the podcast on, because it really helps the podcast. But just know that it'll go a long fucking way to me not doing those things if you do go do that. So just putting that out there.